as a 13-year-old sitting upstairs in my white iron daybed, sitting late at night with my aunt talking about boys. She asked me who I had a crush on, if I had any boyfriends, and she shared stories about her own relationships as a young girl. And I'm going to share these three things from this lesson of how my aunt played that role in my life and how that played out for me as a 13-year-old and what can be helpful for you. How do you navigate the topic of boys with your teen or tween daughter? So in this episode, we're going to explore what's really normal for girls as they experience the curiosity, the crushes, and the attraction that they naturally share about boys. And I'm going to also share 3 things to consider when responding to your daughter with love and understanding around this topic. I know, Mama, it's going to be hard. Hold your breath. We're going to learn how to guide your daughter through this topic with confidence and connection. I got you. If you are frustrated with how to get your teenage daughter to open up to you because all you want is to connect with her as you once did, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Jeannie Baldomero, a former rebellious teen, now mom of 3 young adults, educator, and the mom mentor, equipping you to create open communication with your girl so she can come to you about anything, even if she's scared. So grab your oat milk latte, breathe, and let's do this together. One thing I love to do on top of doing this podcast and serving you mamas is also helping moms one-on-one in the weeds, raising their tween or teen girl. Mamas who feel all of a sudden disconnected with their once young, cuddly girl and now entering the tween stage and have no clue what to do with her. So I got a chance to talk to one of my moms, and this is what she said. I was in a bad place with my 14-year-old daughter this summer when I decided to take the bold move to enroll onto the Talk to Your Teen Girl framework. After as little as 2 weeks into the course, I learned how to communicate more effectively with my 14-year-old daughter. I feel now I have the tools to handle conversations better and approach my daughter with love, empathy, and without judgment, something I honestly struggled with before. The result, my daughter recently told me I am her safe person. Wow, we are enjoying a closeness now that I would only have dreamt of before. It's a work in progress, but I have the tools now. Thanks to Jeannie, I am beyond grateful for this. Absolutely amazing to see how quick my friend Carly got a result in as little as 2 weeks and started to see the changes in her daughter and the way she interacted with her daughter simply by shifting the way she needed to interact with her girl. This level of connection bridged in just a few short weeks of Talk to Your Teen Girl framework. You're probably wondering what exactly is in the Talk to Your Teen Girl framework. I'm a visual person, so I get you. I like to be able to visualize exactly what I'm getting into, and I like seeing the steps to fully grasp what I would be learning. So I totally get it. So here it is. In this course, you get access to 5 modules, which you can complete at your own pace. Typically, they are about 1 week each. You have access to a private Facebook Mom Tribe community. You get a workbook containing your communication action plan and notes from the modules. Plus, I'm not done, 2 bonuses. Not 1, but 2, 52 dates, ideas with your daughter, 11-page resource guide, and never run out of things to talk about with your daughter. Endless questions in various topics you can ask your girl. I believe in equipping moms with resources and tools ready at hand's length to use and utilize at any given time. So if you are still trying to grasp what this all looks like, I get you. Come and visit talktoyourteengirl.com where I lay it out all for you. I'll see you there. I know there are many a times where my daughter and her group of girlfriends would be talking about boys in the backseat of my car while I was driving them around from here and there. The boy in her class, or did you see so-and-so at lunch, is what I would hear with some giggling. He's so cute. Or Maybe I should say it how they say it. He's low-key adorable, or I'm obsessed with him. Those are the things you probably have heard in the backseat of your car or behind the closed door of her bedroom as she's sharing this with her girlfriends. Well, this topic we as moms can sometimes dread. Boys, are we there? Are we going to really go there with talking about boys? But I do know a few moms that really do get excited around this topic. And however you personally receive talking about boys, I do know it can be pretty uncomfortable for your daughter to talk to you about it with you personally. Not like how she talks to her girlfriends, but to you. We can also misinterpret their intentions when it comes to boys. Our mama brain may be scrambling at the many possible outcomes when we open the door to talking about boys. We got to brace ourselves of what's to come and really limit the assumptions that we might have of our daughters as they're exploring this topic. So what I wanted to do, Mama, is kind of put your heart at ease when it comes to this topic. I want to help you decipher what is normal and common in most girls when it comes to boys. So as your daughter grows, it's natural for her to start showing interest in boys. This part of her emotional and social development as a pubescent, adolescent girl is normal. Here are some things you might notice. Curiosity about relationships. She may start asking questions about love, about dating, and what's considered a healthy relationship. This curiosity is a normal part of understanding the world around her. Remember, there was a few episodes about the changes in your teen girl. Biologically, in adolescence, she is detaching from the family unit so she can go and procreate. Yes, Mama, you want to cover your ears, but that is the natural makeup of our bodies. Yes, social developmentally, they're not quite ready there yet, which is why adolescence is adolescence. They're exploring right now. They are curious about relationships, and that is natural. They have attractions and crushes. They have crushes on boys. I remember crushes on boys. I think it started as early as 11 when I would have a crush on some of the actors of the sitcoms I used to watch in the 80s. Those were my crushes when I started to notice boys, whether it be their classmates or celebrities or even fictional characters. Yes, fictional character. I don't know. I might age myself, but do you guys remember the cartoon called Voltron? It was an anime. I guess it's considered anime now, which I think is pretty cool because it was an anime cartoon back in the early 80s, and I had this huge crush on the lead character, and he was not real. He was a cartoon character, and I had this huge crush. I think it was in 3rd or 4th grade. So yes, they're very common to have fictional characters as a crush. These feelings are often more about admiration and self-discovery than anything else. Okay, Mama? They're about that. It's nothing sexual about it. It's just this attraction and noticing others. They're also seeking connection and validation. Now, as your daughter navigates her emotions, she might seek attention or validation from boys. This could manifest in wanting to look nice, spending time around them, dressing a little cute, fixing their hair, putting the right makeup. And it's an opportunity to guide her. This is your opportunity, Mama, to guide her towards finding validation within herself, right? Right now, her focus, and she's trying to wrestle with where can she find validation. And you find oftentimes most girls, and me included, look to boys for validation, to approve, to prove or approve or affirm things about me, right? And I valued that. But this is a time, so I want you to know this is natural, first of all. So we don't need to freak out about that. But this is really an opportune time to kind of also steer her towards validating within herself and not seeking external approval. And number 4 is exploring their identity. During this time, they're exploring their identity. Relationships and attraction can play a role in really helping her understand who she is and what she values, right? How does she know what she values if she doesn't interact with other people? It's a learning experience as she figures out her boundaries, her preferences, and what she's looking for in friendships and eventually relationships. Okay, so these are all natural things. These are healthy things that you might hear her say, and it might not be as articulate as I've explained it, but you can see these common categories as you start to notice her behavior, right? Is she being curious about relationships when she says this? Does she have an attraction or crush when she's fixing her hair or looking at a boy very shyly or runs away because a boy stepped into a room? Or is she seeking connection or validation because she's exploring the way she puts her makeup on, the way she puts her clothes together and styles it? And is she exploring her identity by putting herself out there and seeking relationships so she knows what her preferences are, what her boundaries are, right? Those are opportunities for us to recognize and put them in categories and know that this is normal, and also informs us how we can help guide her during this time. So with that, 3 things to consider, Mama, on receiving and responding your daughter's curiosity about boys. Here's the first one. How approachable are you? You know, I remember, and I shared this, I think in my early episodes, about my aunt, my mom's youngest sister, and how she became a mentor to me during a time where I literally was probably I was the rebellious daughter my mom never expected to have. And she didn't know how to relate to me. But I had my aunt, my mom's youngest sister, who was one that I considered a mentor, someone I could speak freely to. And I recall as a 13-year-old sitting upstairs in my white iron daybed, sitting late at night with my aunt talking about boys. She asked me who I had a crush on, if I had any boyfriends. And she shared stories about her own relationships as a young girl. And I'm going to share these 3 things from this lesson of how my aunt played that role in my life and how that played out for me as a 13-year-old and what can be helpful for you. So what my aunt did was she was approachable. So my question is, how approachable are you? Your daughter needs to know she can come to you without fear or judgment. Are you being open and available for her to talk about something that could be very embarrassing for her, or she's just not quite sure how to bring it up without it sounding a different way, right? Can she just freely blurt something out without her feeling judged? So how approachable are you? Would you judge her because she's too young to think about that already? Or would you allow her to ask those questions even if they're so uncomfortable for you? A second thing my aunt did really well was had me think about what a healthy relationship looked like. And how she did that was being curious about the boys I liked. If I had a boyfriend, what I did with my boyfriend, how did I see my boyfriend? And then she, in turn, shared her relationships of her unhealthy relationships with her boyfriends in the past and her healthy relationships with boyfriends in the past. This was an indirect way of guiding me to think about what healthy relationships should look like. They should be full of kindness and respect and really valuing yourself without feeling bad about who you are, right? No one should ever make you feel bad about who you are. The point is really just having her think about what a healthy relationship is and being curious about what that can look like for her and how you can teach her and guide her inadvertently without telling her what to do is really share your stories like my aunt did. What was unhealthy and what was healthy. And number 3, one thing that my aunt did really well was not react to the fact that I had a boyfriend really young, that he was a gang member, but to really normalize the feeling of wanting to have crushes, wanting to have relationships, wanting to know more about boys and being attracted to them and wanting to pursue relationships. To normalize that feeling of crushes has helped me, through my aunt, realize that it's a normal process. There's nothing to be ashamed about it. There's nothing to feel guilty around it, but it's a healthy subject to really talk about and not feel any embarrassment or shame around being attracted to the opposite sex. So that's what she did really well, was consider this. How approachable are you? What are her thoughts on a healthy relationship and how can you guide her? And remember to allow her to know that these feelings are normal and there's nothing to be shameful about it. So you want to protect your daughter, right? Especially when it comes to boys, but you also want her to feel safe, exploring her emotions and thoughts. So remember, your role isn't to control her feelings because this is a time, and gosh, an inopportune time. It's an opportunistic time for you to really guide her through these feelings with love and understanding and wisdom because you have gone through it yourself. So being approachable, helping her understand healthy relationships, and really normalizing her experiences as you talk about boys and relationships, you're helping her set up for a really healthy outlook on how to approach boys in this phase of life. Now, Mama, this episode isn't about how you establish boundaries around boys, the date, the great age of when they should be dating, but it's really more of filtering out all of the things that are normal that comes to discussing boys. I want you to feel normalized yourself that these discussions, when boys are talked about, you may have differing opinions about them, but I think the thing that we need to remember most is that you want her to open up and explore what this can all look like. Remember, she's trying to shape who she is. She's trying to discover what boundaries need to be set. And to have you by her side is the greatest gift you can give her, right? Not the fact that, you want to create boundaries around boys already, but exploring what she's thinking about in this stage. Now, if you're ready to take that next step forward and you're like, oh my gosh, how do I even talk about this? It's making me really nervous to even have her talk to me about boys without me getting emotional about it, or how do I even know I'm being approachable and non-judgmental? Well, maybe this is your time to take this step forward into the Talk to Your Teen Girl framework. Maybe she's holding back what she really thinks because she worries about how you'll react and what you'll say. Then why don't you equip yourself with the proper tools that are taught within the Talk to Your Teen Girl framework, where moms like you have found success in as quickly as 2 weeks in connecting with her girl. So head on over to talktoyourteengirl.com and start connecting with your daughter now. That's talktoyourteengirl.com. Hey friend, if this podcast inspired you or encouraged you or helped you in any way, I'd love for you to share it. You can screenshot this episode and share it in your stories on social media or text it to a friend who can use the support. It's the best way you can thank me. I want to let other mamas know they are not alone. I'd love to stay connected with you. You can find me at raisingherconfidently.com. Until next time, live full of grace, Jeannie.